DSI analyze. So the coronavirus, I'm scanning media worldwide, and one of the news articles that I just happened upon is from, let's see here, this would be Fortune. And the article is titled, the update is 6 March 2020 at 4:22 a.m. Eastern Time, and it is by Naomi Zhu Elegant. Last name Elegant. Seriously, last name is Elegant. So that was 2 days ago, because today is 8 March 2020 and it's Sunday. And the title of this article is, why are patients who recover from coronavirus testing positive again? And then the subtitle is, scientists are trying to understand mysterious double positives. One of the things that I would like to cite as a scholarly citation is just this one line here where it says, quote, along with the global rise in infections and deaths is an increase in recoveries. More than 55,000 people have recovered from the disease as of Friday. So, end quote. Moving forward. So, the number, as you just heard, is one number that we are given. 55,000 people, according to Fortune article, have recovered from the coronavirus. Let's take a look at some other numbers in terms of this disease surveillance, biomedical intelligence, gathering analysis here. I'm multitasking. I'm looking at these different, trying to remember from my notes here what else we're seeing. Oh, yes. And as of yesterday, I read, so that would be 7 March. Yesterday, before daylight savings time, I heard that there are 2 strains of the coronavirus now. One being more aggressive than the other, and that would be those would be strains. I believe L as in Lima and S as in Sierra. So there are 2 known, believed to be strains of the coronavirus. Hold on. 2 strains. I'm going to bring this information back up here. Give me a moment. By the way, this is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. I am the host of this podcast. My name is Once Grove, and if you are true fans of this show, then we 495 most certainly appreciate you. All right, so 2 strains of the, okay, so this is New Scientist, and it says 72 hours ago, quote, this is by Jessica Hamzalu, or Hamzalu, 5 March 2020. All right. And it says, quote, 2 strains of the new coronavirus are spreading around the world, according to an analysis of 130 cases. And so, end quote. And so that is, in fact, they are, in fact, L type and S type. And it looks like also accordingly, it says IBID in same body of information, same article here from New Scientist. It is stating that, quote, the L type is more prevalent, suggests that it is more aggressive than the S type. So the L type is the one accordingly believed to be more aggressive than the S's in Sierra type. All right, so we have that intel. All right, This is open source intel. Now let's go to, let's see, AccuWeather here. I brought up some of this information be weeks ago, but we're going to review it. It's published 11 February 2020 at 3:48 p.m. One of the things that we did not cover is, okay, so based on this article by Mark Puleo, I apologize for not knowing the exact pronunciation of his name. But one of the things that a lot of people probably don't know, because they probably didn't read and haven't read this article. Let's see, all right, so there is a medical, okay, hold on. So he's a professor of pathology, John Nichols, according to this article here. And this is, from 11 February. So coming up on almost 30 days ago. Apparently, as per this passage, this article, this body of information here, this man, Mr. John Nichols, who it says is a pathology professor at the University of Hong Kong, quote, says he knows when the virus will become inactive. How would he know that information? Well, it goes on to say that he is one of the world's foremost on the subject, most knowledgeable in the world. And the important piece of information is the article, it says that he's comparing and contrasting the COVID-19 to, it says, SARS from 2002 and 2003, and talking about the weather and the range of temperatures. And it goes on to say, and this is what we had covered before, the part about Australia and Africa, being the climate there would not be conducive to the virus being able to live and spread there. But this is what is very important. Quote, 3 things the virus does not like: 1, sunlight; 2, temperature; and 3, humidity. End quote. Now, the other thing that the audience ought to know about this open source intelligence information and Mr. Nichols here, apparently his information was leaked and it wasn't supposed to get out to the public, which is very odd. Not the leak, but how would he have this information? Now listen, I'm not suggesting there's a conspiracy. That's not what I'm implying or suggesting or insinuating. And I understand that he seems to understand to a large degree, large extent, for grammarians out there, that the coronavirus will inactivate within 6 months of when it began. 6 months. And he juxtaposes again, compares and contrasts the coronavirus to SARS from 2000, what did it say, 2003? 17 years ago-ish? Make sure I have that right. Let me go back. 2002 and 2003, so 18 years ago. Coming up, if not already. Whenever that exact date was that SARS popped up on disease surveillance radar globally. And so, armed with that information and that knowledge, if he is in fact correct, Well, COVID-19 is already more than 90 days into its cycle. And there is also life cycle, that is. Supposing that this information is possibly relatively correct. Also, combined with the 55,000 people globally who have recovered. I also read an article, let's see, was it New York Post? It said that the world's oldest person who has been known to be infected has now recovered from the coronavirus. A 100-year-old man has recovered from the coronavirus. Come on, man, that's encouraging information. A lot of folks in the media, they don't want you, the audience, to know that. They want for you to be afraid and to panic and to hear some modeling simulation information that someone concocted that said something about 59 million people infected. Did the world's foremost on the subject, one of them, probably like top 5 in the world, pathologist, did he seem like he stuttered? Did he sound like a stammering idiot? No, he seems to know something. That's really odd, man. I mean, and the fact that his information was supposed to be private, but it was leaked. I mean, come on, man. There's something. I mean, someone might say, Grove, you're extrapolating a bit much. There's nothing to it. It's just he didn't want for his comments to become public because he said it behind the scenes with some degree of confidence. And he could be wrong. He might be right. Nonetheless, he just wanted to keep the information private. Okay, we'll go with that. Let's go with that. Notwithstanding, if it is true and turns out to be accurate, well, then we're looking at maybe another 90 days of an uptick in cases, instances of community spread and infections, with many people who ultimately become infected recovering. I'm just saying, man, 59 million people doesn't sound right. That number just sounds way off. Way off. It could happen, sure, with any type of disease, virus, that's as virulent and has the ability to spread globally. It's simple logic. Nonetheless, the media and their spin, their politicization of it, their gloom and doom, the panic that they want to create, and it's always these journalists that say, raising fears. Here, I'll say it like 10 times, just so that somebody out there, maybe they get the point if they're not paying attention. Raising fears. Keep in mind, these are journalists that are writing this every day. Raising fears. But what they're not telling you is that 55,000 people have recovered from it. And even more will recover. And there was just a 100-year-old man. And it is entirely possible that 6 months from the time that it was stated, it will burn out. Puleo, Mark, I believe it was, had made the article public regarding the leaked information in which Nichols, Hong Kong, pathologist, professor, foremost, says he knows the lifespan of this thing. They don't want you to know that in the news. All they want you to think about is worst case scenario. Think about it, man. Why? Why do they want to do that? Why do they want for you to think of the worst case scenario? Because they want for Donald Trump's economy to teeter and to recede. They want it to recede and they want it to dwindle and they want for it to be unstable. John Nichols, pathology professor at the University of Hong Kong, again, quote, says he knows when the virus will become inactive. I mean, come on, man. Just think about it. Just think about it. He also talks about the temperature, too. That's very important for folks to know. Let's see, I wanted to mention that, and I just realized. Yeah, it says right here, quote, the virus can remain intact at 4 degrees, which is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Or 10 degrees, 50 degrees Fahrenheit for a longer period of time, Nichols said. End quote. So 39 to 50 degrees, 40 to 50 degrees, that's what we looked at if you go back and listen to previous podcasts. We looked at China's temperature on the average in the Wuhan province. Some might say Wuhan. Not province. Not province. That was my fault. That was my fault. Hubei province. Wuhan being a city, town in Hubei province, China. My fault. I stand self-corrected. And so, yeah, we looked at the average temperature and you can see the numbers that Nichols, that he cited and stated is the ideal ecosystem for this thing in which to thrive and spread. And so, I mean, again, going back to this leaked information here, how much are you hearing about this in mainstream media? How much are you hearing about this revelation in media, in mainstream media? And this was back on 11 February. Since then, how many times, other than here on C4CW, have you heard a scholarly, proper citation of this article regarding John Nichols? John Nichols, professor of pathology, University of Hong Kong. I'm just asking, man. You probably haven't. That's the problem with society. People fearmonger. They want for people to fucking freak out. Look over here so I can get some ratings. Oh, there's an ass turd roid. An ass turd roid. It could totally wipe out the world on its close approach to Earth. And NASA says it's a doomsday ass turd roid if it hits. But it's zillions of miles away and will pass by safely. Thank goodness. I mean, man, that shit has to fucking stop in society, man. That shit has to stop. That should be outlawed in the same way that swastikas are outlawed in Germany and considered fucking highly illegal. State fucking crime type shit. People shouldn't be able to fucking fearmonger in that way. I get it, freedom of press. Is that really the fucking press though, man? These writers and bloggers and fucking pseudo-journalists? No. You know it's not. I know it's not. It's bullshit and it needs to fucking stop. People need to focus, be calm, Don't panic and keep a strong mental fortitude. Get a handle on the situation. Look at some real hard, concrete data, numbers. Think about it. Don't buy into, don't subscribe to all the fucking lingo and jargon and wording and verbiage and phraseology. Raising concerns. Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit pseudo journalist motherfucking son of a bitch asshole. Raising concerns for who? You. Fuck you. You're not going to stop our thriving, booming economy, motherfucker. You're not going to depose and upend Donald Trump's administration, motherfucking bitch. I've been in a program with the U.S. intelligence community sponsoring it where we looked at deep fucking futures and we asked the crowd, what happens out into the year 2038 and fucking beyond? Motherfucker, there's shit I've never revealed to the audience here. You fucking stupid journalists, you're fucking dumb, lousy, bums, scrubs, pieces of shit. Fuck you and your ass turd roids. And you're raising fears. Go raise fears yourself somewhere, bitch. And shut the fuck up. I'm one Sir Grove.